replaced by mistress. Long time ago, in a peaceful African village called Oma, there lived a woman named Adaku, who was once the pride of her people. Her beauty was radiant like the morning sun over the tall palm trees. Before marriage, Adaku danced gracefully at the village square, her waist beads jingling like little bells. And everyone admired her with praise songs and ululation. But after she married Obina, she stopped taking care of herself. She wore only faded wrappers and walked around looking tired and forgotten. "I'm a married woman, who is looking at me?" Adaku always said, pounding yam slowly in her clay kitchen, while her beauty faded like old stories. Obina, who once held her hand with pride, now spent his days at the palm wine bar, laughing loudly with his friends under the thatched roof. One evening, Obina returned home with a young maiden named Ngozi, whose skin glowed like oiled bronze under the setting sun. Ngozi wore bright wrappers, golden bangles, and anklets that sang sweetly as she walked through Oma village. Adaku watched them laugh together under the old mango tree, as tears filled her eyes and her heart shattered like a broken calabash. That night, she locked herself in her mud kitchen and wept, until her tears dried like forgotten rain under the harmattan breeze. She realized too late that neglecting yourself can make you lose everything you love, leaving you broken and empty like a calabash thrown away by the riverbank. The elders of Oma say, never lose yourself because of marriage. Self-love keeps your light shining, even when darkness surrounds you. Long time ago, in the quiet village of Oma, the drums no longer dance for Adaku. Her husband, Obina, now paraded Ngozi, the young maiden, as though his wife never existed. The villagers whispered, some with pity, others with shame. Adaku kept to herself, a shadow of the woman she once was. Her clay kitchen remained cold, her beads hidden away in a dusty calabash under the bed. But one morning, while fetching water from the stream, she heard two young girls whisper behind her, "Is that not the woman that let herself waste away because of a man?" Their laughter cut deeper than a knife. That day, Adaku went home and sat in front of her mother's old mirror. She saw not just her wrinkles or her tired eyes. She saw a woman who had forgotten herself to please everyone else. She wept, not for Obina, not for Ngozi, but for the woman she abandoned inside her. Days passed. Then weeks. Slowly, she began to rise, like the sun after a long rain. She washed her wrappers. She oiled her skin with shea butter and braided her hair in neat cornrows. Her old beads danced once again on her waist. She began attending women meetings again, sharing her story, not with shame, but with strength. "They didn't replace me. I replaced myself with silence," she said. But not anymore. The villagers began to notice. Even Obina, now tired of Ngozi's endless demands, looked at Adaku with quiet regret from the distance. But Adaku had moved on. She started a small business by the roadside, selling herbs, soaps, and oils. Women from nearby villages came to her for advice, not just for products, but for strength. One day, Ngozi passed by with her face swollen after an argument with Obina. She looked at Adaku, expecting mockery. But Adaku only smiled gently and said, "My child, never let your beauty blind your wisdom." That day, the village of Oma saw something greater than beauty. They saw rebirth. The elders say, when a woman remembers who she is, not even the wind can shake her. Have you ever forgotten yourself while trying to keep someone else? In the village of Oma, the drums no longer beat for Obina. His house, once full of noise and laughter, now echoed with silence. Ngozi, the young maiden who once glowed beside him, had packed her bags and returned to her father's compound after a heated quarrel. She said, "I came for love, not battle." And just like that, she was gone. Obina, now alone, sat by the doorpost every evening, staring at the empty clay pots and cracked calabashes. Remembering the days Adaku filled the compound with song. He thought of her cooking, her laughter. How she used to bring palm oil from the market and greet him with a smile. But back then, he saw her as ordinary, until she became extraordinary to others. One morning, he walked slowly to Adaku's store, carrying a wrapped gift of kola nuts and palm oil. His voice was low, his eyes soft. "Forgive me, Adaku. I see clearly now." But Adaku, standing tall in her golden wrapper and coral beads, smiled gently. "Obinna, I have forgiven you. But I will never forget myself again." The villagers watched in silence. Some clapped, some wept. She handed him a bar of black soap from her stall and said, "Wash your heart before you seek another woman's love." That evening, Obinna returned to his house. Alone, but wiser. And so the elders say, when you break the hand that feeds you, hunger will teach you respect. From the village of Oma came a woman's story that touched hearts. Adaku was forgotten, then replaced, then reborn. Her journey was not just about heartbreak. It was about healing, rising, and never forgetting your worth. As the elders say, when you remember who you are, not even regret can cage your spirit. This was replaced by Mistress, a VMT Glow African folktale story. Studio microphone told in the voice of truth, tears, and tradition.